morning, good morning, good morning. I am Tamara Johnson-Sheely. Good morning. It's going to be a good one this morning, y'all. It's going to be a good one this morning. Ooh, welcome to the broadcast on this beautiful sunny morning here in the great state of Georgia. Welcome to the broadcast. It's going to be a good one this morning. I have been waiting on this interview for several weeks, waiting on this interview. I couldn't wait. I got a text one Sunday morning about a story and about Linnentown, Georgia. I had never heard of Linnentown, Georgia, which is a part of the Athens community. Never heard of it. But I read the story and could not believe that the descendants of this community, the people that resided there, the descendants are still living, and there's a story to be told. And they were forced off of their land in order for the University of Georgia, UGA, to build a dormitory and a parking deck. And it broke my heart. It broke my heart because I just could not believe that this was actually happening to these. It happened to these descendants. So we have them here this morning. Let me bring Miss Hattie. Miss Hattie, good morning. Welcome to the broadcast.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
You know how long I've been waiting. I think I've been counting down every day to have you, Miss Hattie.
Well, thank you. I've been looking forward to being here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for joining me. And we have a co-host, someone who's been in these efforts with you and doing this work with you around Linnentown, Georgia. Good morning, Joseph. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you for having me, Tamara. Very happy to be here and talk about this today.
Yes, thank you. Miss Hattie, are we matching this morning? Look like you got a little red on. I got a little red on.
Yes, we're matching.
We were thinking alike, Miss Hattie.
I know. So that's good.
You look real pretty over there.
Thank you.
Linnentown, Georgia. I want you to start with giving us a story about Linnentown. I want you to, tell us you grew up in this small little community in Athens that, this is your family. Tell us about Linnentown. I just want you to tell us what Linnentown was to you.
Linnentown, basically, to me, was a place that I was born. It was I was born to a large family, three sisters and three brothers, mom and a dad. This community was made up of 3 streets. 2 was unpaved, and 1 was partially paved. We had, in this community, we had about 60 something families that lived there, and we had 60% home ownership that lived there. So people had gained home ownership through their meager wages. So our community was made up of carpenters, brick masons, construction workers, cooks, janitors, people that worked hard, followed the law, and the children there were good children. We were good children, but we were accountable to the whole community. And we had to treat everybody in the community with respect. So I want you to know that there's nothing in City of Athens books or in UGA books with the name of Linnentown on it. The data that was archived that Dr. Joseph Carter finally found was under an urban renewal name. So it was passed down through history in our community of our name. So we don't know the original origin of our name. But the adults there were hardworking. We stayed to ourselves. This was before integration, once all of this started happening. So it was desegregation at that time. In fact, I was involved in the civil rights movement here. I want you to know that.
And we definitely want you to tell that story too, Miss Hattie.
Well, I want you to know that even though that the urban renewal took place, you got to realize that the community did not know anything about urban renewal. There were no meetings. no understanding of what urban renewal was, because there was a partnership between the city of Athens and UGA. This deceptive partnership was, I think it went on, I think it was probably in the early 60s, but we got data back to the 1920s when UGA started talking about or making reference to this community, this slum community off of Baxter Street. So when they were able to enter the housing, I think it was the HUD, and it wasn't HUD then, but when they were able to, when it was amended to allow universities, I think in 1959, the urban renewal is when they moved and moved fast to get our community. Our community was 22 acres of land, prime property, 4 blocks from UGA football stadium up Baxter Street. So it was prime property. And during that time, it was, like I said, before integration, I was involved in integrating Athens. So I was going downtown Athens, demonstrating in the community, in the city, being locked up, bus to jail on the yellow buses to the stockade, and locked in the gate. But during that time, it was hard for me because we were treated terribly. We spit on, bumped, hit, name calls, and I have really suffered from that, up through the years. I never really got over it. But I was involved in all that, doing every day, going locked up. People coming and getting us from the stockade, taking us to church that night, having singings and being motivational speeches, and then going home and coming back the next day. But during that time, urban renewal was in Linnentown. So I was going home at night and listening to what all had taken place in the community and all the frustrations that had taken place during the day because the adults did not understand or did not know anything about urban renewal. They had a few, what I call hand-picked Black leaders, men leaders in the community who had given them permission, that did not live in our community. They give them permission to go ahead and enter the urban renewal contract, and it was okay for them to take this neighborhood to build dormitories. So we were really sold out. But it was a good community. It really was, because our parents taught us how to take care of ourselves at an early age, because you had to know how to take care of yourself back in that time. Because, like I say, you just didn't call the police, because everybody just took care of their own. So it was a good community. The children we were happy children. We played all over the community, had imaginations. The teenagers in the community built us a play area at the creek. We played long days and evenings at the creek all the time. It was beautiful. And they built us a swing out of vines that was stuck to a tree, so we could swing back and forth across the creek. So we didn't have money, but they had imagination. And they fashioned this beautiful creek play area that for us, the younger children in the community. There were community football games. There were community baseball games where the whole community played in the baseball field behind Union Institute. That was a Black private school that was also in the urban renewal area that was closed down. So we played baseball in that field. And sometimes when we finished playing baseball, we would go in the school office and pull out the folders that had been left and play school. So we were oblivious of what was going on with urban renewal. And so was our parents. They knew something was going on, and when they asked questions, they were not given straight answers. So we had nobody to stand up for us or give us voice to what was going on in Linnentown. They never knew. So, and I think it was 1961 is when where there was a sign put up on Finley Street that said University of Georgia, and name was first, and Athens, city of Athens, entered into this project, urban renewal project. Still, our adults did not know, our parents did not know what that was. They knew that it was something, and they figured that university wanted our land, but they did not know what it was. So there was a lot of suspicion and suspect, but no answers was given as to what was really, really going on. And in 1961, we had surveyors start knocking on the doors, asking questions. And this is when the suspicion really got heightened, to say, what are these people that are knocking our doors for? Who are they? And that's when the people found out that there was something going on with this survey that was asking questions about how many rooms there were and how many, what's the income of the family. And in fact, I was there the night that this surveyor entered our house and would start asking my mom questions about this survey. And then when the surveyor finally finished, my mom started asking questions to who she could talk to and where she could go and find out more about this. And they said they didn't know. They were only hired to just complete the survey. So that's how this community was kept in the dark about what was really, really going on. Because there were no one there to, like you say, to meet in with the community. There were no bankers there to help people relocate. There was nobody. And in that time, you couldn't go to a bank anyway, because again, this was before integration. So people were borrowed money from people, some of the white people that they knew from the community to buy their houses and just pay them back. And sometimes you could go to a loan company, a finance company, and get money, but you just couldn't go to a bank and get money because you couldn't qualify with the meager wages that the parents were earning anyway. So that's what happened. So it was over a period of years, because if you look at from this time, the sign went up, probably was in 61, and then the last homeowner moved out that area in 66. But during that time, when the urban renewal contract was signed and the acquisition started with the houses, it was the University of Georgia's responsibility to get us out of the neighborhood. And that's when we were being terrorized. The equipment started up at night, 12 o'clock at night, the heavy equipment, and it would run close up to the houses. So there was no sleeping or resting at night. There were big bulldozers that dug ditches deep in front of the homeowners' properties. And then when we came home from school, we had to jump over these ditches to get inside our homes. And these were deep ditches. They were left uncovered. So that went on. Some of the streets were closed off, so that was limiting access to the community. And what the city did, or what UGA did, was allow the fire department to come in and start burning the houses that they had acquired. So we saw that on people that we grew up with and families that owned and lived in those homes. So we saw that. And then we saw bulldozers pushing houses down. So this was all to terrorize us to hurry up and get out of the community. Also during that time, it was desegregation. So you just couldn't move anywhere. You had certain communities that Blacks could move in. So when you had all these families trying to relocate at one time, it was terribly hard. And some families moved without letting people know where they had moved. The hope was to redline everybody to go to what we call then the projects. That was the area that they were trying to get people to move in. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the projects. I'm just saying that it's hard to go from being a homeowner to the projects. So that's what the big issue was. But you had nowhere else to go. That was a couple of people that moved in at that time in the back of a small house behind a big house, so they could take care of the duties of the yards and of the grounds when couples. And so you had all that going on during the time. You had trying to integrate the city, and then you got urban renewal. So it was pretty devastating during that time when urban renewal was going on, plus desegregation was going on at the same time. And it was not publicized, so very few people, Black or white, except the people who was in this partnership, knew what was going on and what was happening to people in the community. So we struggled. And in fact, after my family moved out and we had to move to the projects because there was no more money. It's a whole nother story, because we lived on Finley Street initially in a shotgun house. And my parents wanted to stay in the community because we had relatives. And my dad bought property not knowing it was in urban renewal on another street, and had the men in the community to build a house. So my dad had built a house not knowing it was an urban renewal, and all the money was gone after that. So we had no more money to build nothing or to move anywhere, or down payment. So we moved to the projects. About 6 months after we moved to the projects, my mom and dad separated because of the stress. And so they both moved out, promising they were coming back. We was left with my older sister and brother. So I lived with my older sister and brother. My next older brother lived with them. And my mom and dad came by and brought money. But my younger sister and brother, they had to live with my aunt and uncle, who already had 10 children. So it continued. The impact of urban renewal did not stop after the families moved out. It continued to have a negatively impacting the residents and the children that had left years after the move out. So that's just a brief overview of what happened in Linnentown community.
Miss Hattie, I don't know if I'm madder now than I was when I read your story and when I've talked all the times that I've talked to you. I'm sitting here on, feeling all kinds of different emotions, Miss Hattie. I'm mad. I am mad. I'm much madder now than I was. I was already mad when I read the story. I was already mad when I talked to you for the first time. I'm angrier now. I definitely am. To hear that not only did this devastate the community, to hear the impact of the devastation on your life.
Of course.
On your life.
Yes.
On your entire life. And this is something that you have lived with all these years, the devastation of this, of how your community was destroyed and the impact it has had on your life. It angers me. My heart breaks, and I'm even, like I said, I'm angrier than I was when I first talked to you.
Well, and I can put it like this to you. I was really angry about desegregating, segregation, excuse me. I was angry about that, how that played out. And I could have stayed angry about that.
Mhm.
And I was angry because of my community, my small Black community was taken. And I could stay angry about that. But at some point, I had to turn my anger and the energy to go after what has been done, like I did then as a child. I had to do this as an adult now.
Mhm.
I had to focus on, okay, you can be angry or you can try to go after the people and get some type of justice for the unjust that was done. So I had to get over that and move in a different direction to get justice.
It just shows, Miss Hattie, the resiliency of Black people. How we take it. We come from, through slavery, where we took physical abuse and violence. And then we get into the 60s, where it's mental, the mental, physical, just shows the resiliency of us as a people. And let me introduce Joseph, because I know we brought Joseph into the conversation. Joseph is an organizer in the Athens area. He has worked diligently with you to move this initiative through policy. So Joseph, welcome to the broadcast. You're muted, Joseph. There you go.
It's great to be here. I'm very excited to be here to talk about this and it's been incredibly exciting to get a lot of accomplishments at the local level, but this needs to go all the way to Congress, and that's where we have to mobilize toward. So I'm really interested to hear how we can help strategize to that place, working the state, going to federal. So very happy to be here.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us. And we're going to definitely go there with this conversation. But I want Miss Hattie now to take us to the next step. Now that you have been able to wrestle, because I'm wrestling with it right now. So you've wrestled with it. I'm wrestling right now, and it's got me like, it just pushes me to just continue to do everything that I'm doing. It's fuel for my fire. But now that you wrestle with it, and where did you start, Miss Hattie, with policy? Like, what was your first step? Like, where did you, what initiatives got you to a place where you and Joseph connected? Can you start there?
Yes. Joseph contacted me and said that he had found the data, the Linnentown data, urban renewal data. And he reached out to the community to try and find some of the descendants. And he did. He found some of the descendants. So we had a meeting here at my house. And it was a reunion, so to speak, because we only saw each other in passing in grocery stores and things like that. But once we got together and once we had the data, we committed to get some type of justice with all the unjust that had been done. So Joseph Carter led us into writing a resolution. And in 2019, we wrote the resolution. And grant you, it's 5 of us, seniors. But we were committed with Joseph, we were committed to make this pass, get this resolution passed, and do whatever we could do to get justice for the unjust that had been done back in the 60s. So we wrote a strategy. Joseph and I got a strategy together, and we start meeting with commissioners. We start meeting with a number of commissioners. We start holding community meetings and small group meetings. I start taking people on tours of where the community was, explaining that. Sitting down, meeting with commissioners over and over and over again. Some commissioners said they were going to support it, and then they said they were not going to support it. So we had to have another meeting, a sit-down meeting. But the biggest thing with the resolution, what surprised us was with all the data that was in there, there was only a couple of words, some words that was focused on that caused us a lot of grief. And one of the words was in there was white supremacy. And the issue was people said, well, you need to change that. It wasn't white supremacy. And we said, yes, it was. And I said, yes, it was. It was white supremacy. It was white supremacy. And there was a whole lot of issues on both sides. It wasn't whites, all whites. It was blacks and whites saying, you need to change that. And we said, no, we're not going to change that. So, and we had people say, well, if you don't change it, I'm not going to vote for it. And then we had people saying, well, you can't say that UDGA terrorized this community. Yes, that's what they did. They terrorized the community. Well, you can't say that. Well, that's what it was, and that's what we're going to say. We're going to leave that. And so we had to go back and forth from 2019 until February of 2021, where it was voted on. It was a lot of work with the few people, a lot of protest, and a lot of involvement went on until we got that resolution voted on. It was voted on in the council meeting in Black History Month, and it was passed unanimously.
Amen. Let me ask you, Joseph, what prompted you? Like, where Linnentown didn't just come up? Like, how did this come?
It kind of did just come up. I mean, and that's what was so unexpected. I was doing research work for the United Campus Workers of Georgia with the Communication Workers of America. We had been organizing the workers at the University of Georgia, and we were beginning our first fair wage campaign, and I wanted to connect up the university's history of repressing wages in the city to the increasing just a housing crisis and the generational poverty here in Athens. So I wanted to connect it up to a particular community. And one of the commissioners heard rumblings of a community where the dorms are. So that's when I started to look into that area geographically and found maps that showed a community. And then I started to dig more into the university's special collections, more maps, more city data, all the census tract data, and discovered an entire community. And when I say discovered, that was for me, because the elders in the Black community here have long known about Linnentown. It's just, it was never talked about beyond that. And so I had the opportunity to meet one of the residents, and that's when she told me the name. And that was the first time that we ever had the opportunity as a city to say the word Linnentown publicly. So in a way, it did just pop up. I didn't go looking for this. And we originally approached the University of Georgia to give them an opportunity to be out in front of this with us. And Representative Senator Fry was actually a great help with that. You know, we tried to set up a meeting with the university, with President Jerry Moorhead, and they refused. They refused because they believed that we were going to trick them. And we were just astonished. So what we did, we said, okay, there were two institutions involved in this act of violence. We switched over to the county commission to leverage one institution over the other. And that was the strategy. We're going to take institutions that had been friends, and we're going to turn them against each other. And we're going to leverage them against each other. And we had been doing that for the past 2.5 years, and that strategy paid off. We got a piece of legislation that sets us on a pathway to some justice. And so that's how I got involved in this. And what's been beautiful for me is to meet all of these residents and to learn from them, to learn how to fight, to learn how to advocate for their justice, and to see them be able to write their own history, not write their own history again, because it was never written. And now they get to do that. Now they get to pursue that.
So tell us what the resolution says, Joseph.
So the resolution is quite simple. And you can see it on our website. It's redress for Linnentown.com, and it has the full resolution. The resolution originally called for direct repayments to the community. But what we ran up against is the Georgia gratuity clause in the state constitution, which prohibits any state agency, including local governments, from giving any kind of direct payout to a private individual or organization. It's typically called an anti-corruption clause. But what it actually functions as is an anti-reparations clause. A local agency, quote unquote, is prohibited from giving out money as direct payment, as redress. And that includes the University System of Georgia, because it's a public agency. So while we had to make a choice. We either walk away from the table there, or we re-strategize in the moment and then push forward to amend the Constitution at a later point. So what we did, we revised the resolution to say that the calculations for the amount of wealth that was lost and that the city gained would be used in the form of participatory budgeting, where Linnentown residents got to decide where that money would be reinvested in the Athens community. So that would include municipal broadband, raising county wages to $20 an hour, and several other initiatives.
Black History Center.
Black History Center.
So a walk of recognition where we are going to put, just like the Auburn Avenue, have a walk of recognition down Auburn about the community and the businesses that were there. We're going to do the same thing with the Linnentown. We're going to have a walk of recognition, so the end of this, for generations to know that was a community there. So that's one of the initiatives that was in the resolutions as well.
And I struggle with it. And we had a brief conversation offline. I put the website over in the chat for those of you that are following right here on YouTube. redressforlinnentown.com. Go to the website. It is redressforlinnentown.com. And I understand, it's kind of like, it's not kind of like your back was against the wall. It's either we do something. We've done all this work for these last 2 years, 2019, you said from 2019 to February of 2021, you've done all this work. This atrocity happened in 1962, if I'm correct, Ms. Hattie. It happened in 1962. And, you were at the table and it's like, either we do something or we do nothing. And we've done, you can kind of say, well, we've done nothing. We haven't been able to do anything all these years. And now we're at a place where we can do something. So I respect and I say it respectfully, I respect the fact that you got your back was up against the wall. It's like this, we're going to get something out of this today, here, right now. So I get it. But here's where it's hard for me, because the damage, what happened to Linnentown specifically happened to the descendants of Linnentown. And that's why I titled this broadcast Stolen Wealth. That is generational wealth that did not trickle down to your family. It destroyed your family and many other families in that community. Those monies specifically and directly belong to the descendants of Linnentown. And when these monies, and when I hear how the resolution is written, my brain just saying funnel. So we're going to have to funnel these monies through the city in order to get anything out of it. And to me, that is like the next step. To me, hearing it from the other side, like I said, I respectfully understand why you did what you did and where you were in the moment. I totally get it. But here's where Athens, I wish Athens would have said, you know what? Let's stop right here and let's figure out how to fix this gratuities clause. This is where Athens could have taken the reins. This is what UGA could have taken the reins and did something and said, you know what? Let's figure out how to fix this. So when we repair this, when there's redress, there's restitution, we're going to do this right by the descendants of those who are descendants of Linnentown.
I hear what you're saying, and that's very good thought that you're saying, that you have and that you're holding. But the thing of it is, we don't know of another city is in negotiations in Georgia anywhere that has got as far as we have gotten. And we had to make a decision. I hear what you're saying about Athens should have done this or that, or we should have waited. But we decided as a first descendants to move this way because we didn't have any idea of when the gratuity clause was going to be new legislation would take place with the gratuity clause that would allow direct redress. And we're working on that now with Representative Bruce. Thank you for introducing us to him. Thank you. But we're working on that now, and we still don't know when that's going to come through. But if it cannot help us, maybe it can help other communities that have not even gotten started, or this could be a model for them to use to modify. But and we know HR 40 is coming down the pike at someday. But we're at the table now. So we decided to do something now.
And I respect it. I don't ever want you to think I respect it. Miss Hattie, you and I have had several conversations. You know, I don't know what we have, but I know I love you, Miss Hattie.
I love you as well. I love you as well.
I love me some Miss Hattie, and I can't wait to see you real soon. And we'll announce how we're going to come together in just a little while. But
okay.
You know, when I speak to this, I speak to this from a deeper place in my spirit, Miss Hattie. Mm-hmm. I'm a reparationist. And I follow reparations policy from across the nation. I ran for the United States Senate right here in the great state of Georgia with the reparations agenda specific to those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery and all the generations of atrocities that have been done to us, from slavery to black codes, to Jim Crow, to red line and war on drugs, mass incarceration, you know, no GI Bill, no, you know, just everything that's been done to us, systemically and policy. Everything that's been done to us, it's like I speak to it and it burns in my spirit, Miss Hattie. It burns in my spirit. So when I hear this in a way that I see where we are. Let me speak to white supremacy, and then I'll come back to this. This is where white supremacists and those that don't know black people, I want you to see how even in the midst of this, we do things that benefit all of us. How this whole initiative with this resolution will benefit all of Athens off the backs of black people. who were descendants of Linnentown, how off the backs of Black people, off the work and the everything your family put into that community, those families put into that community was destroyed. And that money is directly owed to those who are descendants. But instead, this community has said, we're going to give it back and make it work for the greater good. See, that's the goodness of Black people, white supremacists and white America. That's the goodness of Black people. That's the goodness in her heart. But let me tell you, there's another generation of us, and we trying to be like Miss Hattie. But this next generation of us, you gonna cut the check. The next generation of us, you gonna cut the check, and you gonna get it right, America. Those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery in this country, you're gonna pay us what you owe us specifically. So, Miss Hattie, I get it. I know, I feel your heart. I feel your spirit. And you know, it's something so motherly and grandmotherly and so much in you that I feel, and I know it. It's like, you know, the broadband that now is being brought to the city of Athens off the backs of descendants of chattel slavery and off the backs of Linnentown. Look at this. The broadband now that's being brought to Athens. The wages now that can go up to $20 an hour. That's benefiting everybody. You bring in resources to bring the wages up. The $20 an hour to benefit everybody. You're gonna create a Black History Cultural Center and you know, this area where people know the history. That's monies, Miss Hattie. I want to know where that money is going, because that need to come to y'all. See, this is where I'm a law student. I was a law student. I have a master's degree in law. I'm an Emory grad. I got some good teaching, Miss Hattie. I got some good teaching. So I'm looking at this thing from so many different angles. The monies that's owed to that community should have been given to those of you who are descendants of Linnentown.
And I get it. And like I'm saying, the gratuity clause is there. And we're finally being able to address it with Representative Bruce. And I don't know how long it would take, how long the legislation would take to be voted on, but at least that there's a start for all the cities in the state of Georgia to know that, okay, this legislation is being put up here. This legislation is being put up here. So
this is the next step. This is the next step. And you know what I wish I want Athens to do, and this is something that this is me, my thinking. I want Athens and UGA to come together and say, we're gonna do this right. They can turn this thing around if they wanted to. They can say, you know what? We're going to do this right, because this is an awful reflection on us as a city, Athens, Georgia. This is an awful reflection on you, University of Georgia. Not only did you destroy this community, you allow this community to be destroyed. Not only did you do that, now you want to funnel the resources that should go directly to these descendants of Linnentown, this stolen wealth. Because this community was never able to garner generational wealth. These families were destroyed, placed in public housing, the projects. Yeah, it is something wrong with that when these were legitimate homeowners. This was a legitimate, beautiful, thriving community that has so much potential. These people were working class people that put the money back into the community and made a great space for people to live, work, and play. Stolen wealth. You stole this, and now you're stealing it again. And we're watching you do it, City of Athens. We're watching you do it, UGA. We're watching you do it. This is where you call them to the carpet.
Well, we got cities across Georgia that we are going to help. And now we're not trying to just help Athens. We're trying to reach across to the state of Georgia, because wherever it happened in Athens, it happened across the state of Georgia. So this is an opportunity for them to start now getting organized as well. And we haven't reached them. So we all can work with them as well. So when this legislation is passed, then they will be ready. But they are not even together yet. They hadn't organized.
She says a lawful pyramid scheme at its best to deny reparative justice. You better say it. We watching this in real time. See, this is the beauty of the internet. This is the beauty of social media. This is the beauty of this generation of us. We know our history. We know it. We're real clear about what happened to us. We have elders like yourself, Miss Hattie, that tell us the stories, and we got smart people like Joseph that know how to dig and do that damn research. We know.
And I want to add, so it's not only the money that was lost, and this is what gets silenced in a lot of discussions. It's the wealth that the university and the city gained. So once that property was acquired 60 years ago, students, you got tuition, you got revenue from football games, you got revenue from the city. It is, my gross estimation is that at least the wealth that was gained is at $1 billion for 60 years. And so, and that's just for Athens, the city. Think about across the country and how, and so it can't just be the refunneling. I do agree that it has to be direct repayments. And that means we gotta push like hell to change these laws, to strip them of their power and rewrite them.
Yes.
To write these checks.
Right.
I'm in complete agreement with that. I mean, I wish I was mad as hell at Athens because they keep using the gratuities clause as an excuse. They do that with other things in my experience with organizing against them. And they just say, well, we can't do it. It's the gratuities clause. And you're like, well, stand up to the state. And so that, I mean, I have personal frustrations with that in my history with dealing with the city of Athens and the University of Georgia. But the messaging that we're trying to create, it's not just wealth lost, it's wealth that the institutions have gained. That's where the real money is. So,
well, we have to learn how to play the game that we're in as well. Okay, this gratuity clause is a booger and it has been there. And people who are saying, well, we're gonna fight for reparations, and that's all well and good. I want everybody to fight for wherever their strengths are. But right now, we got to get this gratuity clause. We got to need new legislation because that's a roadblock. And it's there. I can say, yeah, I wanted direct payment. That's why we put it in our resolution in the beginning. But if you run across the gratuity clause like it is in the state of Georgia, you have to be able to decide whether you're going to go forward, move around it, or what you're going to do. And that's what decision we did. But we need all the people in the state of Georgia, energy, especially the younger people, to help with this gratuity clause and the legislation that Representative Bruce is working on.
Mm-hmm. So we're here.
We need other people to work, as well with Representative Bruce.
Mm-hmm. So we're here, Miss Hattie. We're here. We're not even at a I don't even call it a crossroads. We're just at the next juncture. We're moving this train down the tracks here. We're moving this train down the tracks. We're now at a place where this gratuity clause has to be attacked in full force.
Yes.
And we are excited about the fact that you have had that initial conversation with the Representative Bruce, and that is something that is being crafted, and that is something that once it's crafted, we will take a bold stand. You talking to and I could feel it in Joseph, like he don't mind getting in these streets. We don't mind getting in these streets, Joseph. I feel it.
I'll be there.
Yeah. So coming up, we got the Reparations and Justice Rally here in Atlanta on this Friday, June the 18th. For those of you who can make it, please come to the Georgia State Capitol. Miss Hattie will be there, and she will be talking about what happened in Linnentown. We're very excited This coming Friday at the Capitol, 11 a.m. Go to the website. It is USA, the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen, USA. Let me put that in the chat for those of you watching. USADOF.org, United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen. Go to the website. Be a part of this event. We're going to take it to the streets. We have HB 541 here in the state of Georgia. HB 541 is a bill specific to those who are descendants of chattel slavery that will address the impact of chattel slavery on those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery, just plain and simple. It doesn't specifically say reparations, but we need to start the conversation here in Georgia. We got to start where we are, and I applaud you, Ms. Hetty. You know, you as an elder, you've been through it. You know, you got the scars. You know, and you here to guide the way for those of us who have the energy, and those of us who have the know-how. You know, technology has been our friend in this generation. We know how to research. Look at your man Joseph there. He can dig it out. He can get the scoop. And you have people like me who have a big mouth and who don't mind calling them out. I don't mind calling them out. It's either right or it's wrong. It ain't no gray area. It's right or it's wrong, period. So you have us now, Miss Hattie. You have what you need.
Well, I mean, even at my age, I have been involved in demonstrations here and now and will be involved if needed again. But you all we're going to have to pass the baton because, like I said, it's not a lot of us. It's just a few of us. But now what we have gained, the knowledge we have gained here, we can share it and help others around the state to organize in a way that they won't waste time. And one other thing I wanted to tell you before I forget it, I have written a book. Is it okay if I?
Please.
Okay, it's called Giving Voice to Linnentown, and it will be launched next month in July. So I just want everybody to know that, and it would.
I'm getting one of the first copies. I already told you.
And I will. Go ahead, Joseph.
Go ahead.
I just want everybody to know that I want people to know that it is talking about Linnentown, how it was as a community, the impact it had if when urban renewal came in, and then life afterwards. So it's a good documentary of what happened, you know, and from a first descendant standpoint as a child, and then what happened afterwards, and then how we organized and how we got the resolution passed unanimously, which was a big deal, big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll add one thing since we have just a few minutes. We greatly appreciate you, Tamara, especially as a Senate candidate, for reaching out to us, because we've reached out to Senator Warnock and Senator Ossoff, and we have gotten radio silence. And we need to sit down and talk to them. They are our senators. And there is Cory Booker has a Senate bill that's ready to be dropped. It needs to be dropped. And we need to testify before Congress to say why this needs to happen. But they haven't reached out to us. And we want your listeners to know that. So we really appreciate you reaching out to us and seeing what's happening and why we need to progress forward, because they haven't, and we're a bit disappointed in that. We're a little more than disappointed. They need to do their job. That's why we elected them. So wanted to put that out there on everybody's radar, that if Warnock and John are listening, then you need to talk to us. We've been trying to talk to y'all.
Say it. You said it. I don't have to. You say it.
I voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm. When you elect these public officials, they're elected to these offices, they have a duty a responsibility to the community, to the people, to the issues, every single one of them. And they have the resources to do it. They pick and choose. Senate Bill 40 is what I believe you're talking about, which is the mirror to HR 40. Yeah. Neither Senator Ossoff or Warnock has signed on as a co-sponsor to this federal legislation to address the impact of slavery and the descendants of slaves in this country. Neither of them have signed on as co-sponsors. I have an absolute problem with that.
I do too. No. And I think this is an opportunity for them to say, hey, in your own state, this work is being done. We need to talk.
Mm-hmm. And we need to call, and they need to be on the forefront of collaborating with you and UGA and Athens and the city of Athens we need to stop right here. Don't take this money, whatever monies you're trying to funnel that should be coming directly to these descendants. We need to stop this money until this gratuity clause is cleared up here in the state of Georgia. And this is where we all work together to make it happen. So this broadcast today, I knew it was going to be all that it was. I absolutely knew that it would be all that it was. We are again having the reparations rally hosted by the United Sons and Daughters of Freedmen on this coming Friday at 11 a.m. Miss Hattie will be there. Joseph, are you coming?
I will be there.
Yeah, and bring some folks with you.
I'll bring them. I'll be there.
Yes, this is going to be very exciting, Miss Hattie. We look forward to being a resource to you. You don't have to worry. Like I say, this generation of us, my generation, I'm a little older than you, Joseph. I think you probably much younger than I. My sons are grown.
I'm hitting 40 in about a year and a half, so.
Okay. Well, you're older than I thought. You're looking good, brother. You're looking good.
If you could see some of the beard, you see more gray. So thank you. I appreciate it. That makes me feel better in a college town where I've been part of the old crowd for 10 years now. So.
I've been a part of the old crowd, but I'm telling you, these young people, I get it. They excite me so much, though. You're there with them, and that next generation, they have a different mindset. Like I say, they have the know-how. They know how to move very strategically. And when they rise up, it's like an army. And I love the energy that's coming from this next generation.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. And I'm looking forward to the 18th at the Capitol. So I'm looking forward to that. And I appreciate all the work that my team members has done to get us this far. If I start calling names, Joseph, help me. It's Christine Davis Johnson, Bobby Crook, Geneva Johnson Everhart. Help me, Freddie May,
Jackson,
Linda Thomas, myself, and Dr. Joseph Carter. All of us are seniors except Joseph. So we have got things this far. We've got the energy, and we are moving forward. So thank you all for listening and being in your support that you're going to give us in the future.
Yes, thank you very much, and we'll be talking more.
Absolutely. Look, y'all not getting rid of me. You might as well add my name to that list, Miss Hattie. Because that girl ain't going nowhere. So I want to thank my audience for always tuning in with me, rocking with me. Tamara for Georgia. We do this every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We bring it to you. We give voice to issues, activists, and activism right here in the great state of Georgia. We try not to miss a beat. And Miss Hattie, you are a friend to this broadcast. You and Joseph, you are welcome back. We're going to continue. I'm going to, like I said, y'all not getting rid of me, so you might as well add me to the list. As we work on this together, we will come back and bring an update, because this gratuity clause is on attack. We're about to take it out. We're about to take it out, and we're going to make sure that this is done in such a way where the descendants of Linnentown, you will get the redress and the reparations that you absolutely deserve, and your voices will be heard in Congress. It will be heard in Congress. So I thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yes,
thank you for having us.